Libertarians in the great state of Florida will have the option between two U.S. Senate candidates in a historic primary election on August 30th. My name is Albert, and I support Augustus Invictus for U.S. Senate. Opposition candidate Paul Stanton claims to be a libertarian activist, yet he only joined the Libertarian Party of Florida as recently as November 2015, gaining ballot access just weeks before the May deadline. Augustus Invictus, a lifelong libertarian, has been in this contest for well over a year. Stanton, who has refused to debate Invictus, has been cordially invited repeatedly by the campaign, and invited by leaders in the Libertarian Party of Florida.
Because I do criminal defense in Orlando, that's what I do for a living, so I do fight the drug war against these people. To me, it's not about legalizing marijuana or cocaine or anything else. It's about ending the militarization of the police. It's about stopping the wars in third world countries that we are waging. It's about not killing farmers, not poisoning fields, not poisoning the water, things like that. It's a much bigger picture when I'm talking about the drug war. It's also a couple $2 billion a year that we'd be stopping in federal spending.
I'm trying to push the message of liberty here in Florida and hopefully take it to Washington because we so desperately need it.
So I am all about America not being the policeman of the world. I think that we should go to war if it directly affects America's interest. I'm not an isolationist. I do think that we need war, that war is good, that it can be just, but I don't think we should be going to war just because the UN says so, or because Israel says so, or because we have this treaty with this God knows what country out there in the Near East that got themselves in trouble with Iran. That is not our concern. We have enough resources, we have enough power, really, that we don't need to go police the world. We can take care of our own affairs.
Self-defense is a fundamental human right. Everyone has the right to defend themselves. And it's unfortunate when that right gets taken from people. And it's definitely unfortunate when people are unable to do that and then they're killed by horrible, violent people, which we as libertarians oppose.
But when you think about it, really, the burden of this financial crisis is on millennials. And if we don't fix it, it's going to be on our children. And a lot of people want to say, oh, well, it's the baby boomers' fault. Oh, well, it's before them. It's everybody else's fault. But really, it's our problem. No matter who you want to point the finger at, somebody has to stop it. My proposal to stopping it is stopping spending. It is dismembering the federal government. It is throwing a wrench in it. It's tearing it apart, really. And one of the biggest things I'd like to do, even though it's not part of the federal government, is abolish the Federal Reserve. I think that has a lot to do with why we have an economic crisis right now. I said I don't like to bash my opponent, but I'd just like to point out politely that he doesn't think that the Federal Reserve is that bad an idea. He just wants to audit it. He doesn't seem to know that Congress already has oversight over the Federal Reserve and they don't use it.
Because at the end of the day, we're all people. And at the end of the day, libertarians care about people and we care about non-violence because that's what it means to be a libertarian.
Anyone will tell you I am the extremist in the race. I do follow the Libertarian Party platform, generally speaking, but I don't talk about red lights, even though I hate red light cameras. I don't talk about legalizing marijuana, even though I think its criminalization is stupid. What I talk about is attacking the government. I talk about it all the time, and people hate me for it. But I think that if you want the government to listen to you, you have to be armed, and you have to be ready to go to war with your government. I don't think that petitioning works. If it did, it would have already. I don't think that voting for representatives works, because you think that this person's going to come in, and he's going to be your savior, and he's going to change the whole thing. They tried that with Nixon, they tried that with JFK, they tried that with everybody. Obama, especially, was our latest disaster. Now everybody thinks that if we get Donald Trump in there, he's going to change the world, and that's bullshit. He won't, because he's one man, and the real problem is cultural. The real problem is that Americans don't think they can overthrow the government. The real problem is that Americans think that we should vote because that's all we can do. And that is what I'm dead set against. If you want to vote, if you want that to mean anything, you have to be armed. And you have to be ready to go to war with your government. That's really what it comes down to, I think. So there are 6 major contenders in this Senate race. I'm the only one that will tell you that, though. The others will all tell you that the system is fine, we just have to tweak it a little. We just have to vote me in, and I will lobby Congress, and I'll filibuster, and I'll do whatever useless things all the other senators do, and that's going to change the country. And I'm telling you it's not. So really, I'm not a salesperson. I don't have to tell you why you should vote for me. It's really up to you. Do you want the system to remain the way it is, or do you want it to change? Because if you vote for someone who's willing to compromise with the system, someone who believes the system's fine, it just needs a little work, then please vote for one of the other guys. Because I'm not going to sell you on my platform and what I'm going to do. If you know who I am, and you know what I've been saying, and what I plan to do when I get there, then you will vote for me. So that's up to you. So thank you very much for listening. I will take.
Not only has Stanton refused a civil debate with his opponent, he has resorted to deliberate libel and slander against Augustus Invictus. Without presenting a legitimate record of achievement or any business experience, Stanton emerged as an opposition candidate, put in place by the old guard to thwart the Senate campaign of Augustus Invictus. Libertarians are smarter than that. Augustus Invictus, who is a criminal defense attorney from Orlando, has been building momentum across the state for his bold stance in support of individual liberty, economic freedom, and revolution if necessary. The end result being full autonomy over our own lives. Augustus Invictus is the only libertarian candidate for U.S. Senate who represents our love for liberty and hunger for a republic that protects the American people, instead of robbing us of everything we earn. There is no other option. Augustus Invictus for U.S. Senate. For more information about the Invictus campaign, please visit www.invictusforsenate.com.
I'm Augustus Invictus, and I approve this message.